Welcome to Afronique Braids and Weaves. These are the products that I braid with, and here is why. Welcome you guys to Afronique Braids and Weaves. I am so sorry you guys, because I told you guys I was going to have a video up in September, and it's October 1st. I apologize for that. I'm really sorry about that, but I had a lot of things going on. My daughter was doing testing in school, then her birthday month, and I always plan something for her birthday. And if you want to see her birthday, check out Doing Life with Latrice. You'll see her little birthday party. So I had that focus on my baby. But I will get to a video soon as far as instructional on teaching you how to braid hair really soon. So please bear with me with that. Also, I'm coming on here to tell you guys to, introduce myself. My name is Latrice. I've been braiding hair for over 35 plus years. I'm not going to give you guys my age but I am old though, but I'm not going to give you guys my age. So when I started out braiding hair, at the age of 9 years old. And how I learned how to braid hair, I was watching my Aunt Joyce. She used to braid me and my sister Siobhan's hair. And I would just watch her how she would braid. And then I would take my sister Jaima when she was a baby into our little family room at the time, because we lived in Carson. And I would take her in there and I'll start practicing on braiding her hair. That's how it all started. And then my mother, her friends, kids needed their hair braided, so I would braid their hair and make a little $5 off of it. But my first true experience in braiding hair with extension was 12 years old. And how that happened was a friend of mine came over to my house with this bag of hair. And that bag of hair was black and gold. Trusty old black and gold back in the day. And she said, "Can you put this in my hair?" And I was like, "I don't know about that, but I will try." And from the first moment of that time, I applied an extension correctly in this young lady's hair. Hair came out beautiful, Maybe, the braids was a little crooked here and there. But for my first time doing it, it came out really, really good, I should say, But throughout the years, from that point, from when I was 12 years old, throughout, my teen years, I was braiding hair. I would braid hair for $25, $10, $5, $45, $35, to really get my, juices flowing into the braid thing and everything. And then I ended up at 16 going to Pacific Beauty College, which I attended there for a while, learning about hair, because I always had a gifting in hair. So I went there for a brief, period of time. And then I went to Fremont High School. That's in South Central Los Angeles, if anybody know about Fremont High School. I went to, cosmetology classes there. So that's how I ended up knowing about hair. But to make a long story short, because this story might end up just a little long, because I really want you guys to get to know me, get to know the technique and everything, because this is basically, to the beginner braiders. Advanced braiders, you are welcome. You're welcome, because there might be some tricks of the trade I can show you to it, to help your business too. But to the beginner braiders, I'm going to tell you about the things that I've done, throughout my life that maybe will help you, and the techniques that maybe will help you also, okay? Because a lot of things that are being shown on YouTube, some of them are correct and some of them are incorrect. But how I really, really 100% learned about how to braid hair is from the Africans. I used to work in this salon back in the day called Image of Africa. That's how I learned how to properly put an extension in the hair. And because, I was braiding my extension, I say like a quarter inch from the scalp. They taught me how to braid that braid to the scalp without taking nobody hair out, of course, but braid it to the scalp to where that braid doesn't move or slide. So that's when I really learned. And I think that was when I was in my early 20s. I said probably like around 22 years old that I learned that technique. But from the most part, I ended up moving to the high deserts in California. And I always been a spiritual young lady. I got saved at the age of 13. Didn't even know what I was all about, but I got saved at the age of 13. When the lady asked me, do I want the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ to be? I was like, yeah, what do I got to lose, But from that point on, when you open that door, then God, he steps his way into your life, And when he stepped his way into my life, he starts dealing with me and speaking to me about things about my life. I'll never forget it. We had moved out here. I think I was 21 when we moved out here. And my mother was like, oh, y'all Negroes gonna get up and get yourselves a job. And I was sitting up there like, I don't want to work for Walmart or Kmart. And so I was sitting on the edge of my bed. I'll never forget this. I sat on the edge of my bed and God said to me, use what I've already given you. He said it twice. Use what I've already given you. So I got up, put a logo on a flyer, typed up a flyer, went to Kinko's at the time when Kinko's was around, and had those flyers generated out, and it caught on like wildfire. I was braiding 2, 3, 4 heads a day, and I had a knack in braiding hair like no other. I used to do custom braid design, which was custom braid design was to the shape of that person's face, the shape of their head, what would look good on them, whether they was tall, short, stout, or whatever. That style fit them, because every style that's being done doesn't fit everybody. Because people often come to me and they show me styles on Pinterest, and I just look at the back of their head and be like, you can't get there, right? But I ain't gonna tell them that. But you can't get that style, because that style, basically, the young lady in that style that has her hair braided in that style was made for her. It's going to look totally different on you. You might have a big head, a small head, a medium-sized head, heads with dents in it. You might have balding patches. You might have no edges, so your hair is not going to, naturally come out like, that person that you sending me picture in Pinterest. So I give that disclaimer to my clients. I was like, I know all this stuff is coming out, but it's not necessarily mean it's for everybody. So what I would do is I would look at certain styles, because they used to have this braid book way back in the day. I believe it was called Hype Hair, and they would have braids in there. So, I would look at the styles as like, ooh, I'm going to take that style, but I'm going to flip it this way, I'm going to flip it that way, and then I'm going to make it my own. And that's what I do. That I take styles that other people do, and I kind of reverse it to the way that I do hair, So that's what I've been doing for years, Now that I'm older and I'm getting more settled in my life, and I'm ready to retire probably in the next 4 years for braiding hair. So I was like, YouTube is a perfect platform for me to show exactly what I did for 35 years of me braiding hair. How God anointed my hands. I never got carpal tunnel. The only thing is my back. I have double sciatica for years of standing on my feet. I have, carpal tunnel, but that's about it, But I could braid from here 6 o'clock to probably 12 o'clock the next morning, and I'm good, But to say all of that, that's where, God spoke to me and told me to use what I've already given you. And like I said, it caught on like wildfire. I wasn't even ready for the outpouring of clientele that I had gotten, So, he blessed me through that time, and he put in my spirit. I was braiding hair for years off and on, and made a business, like I said, when I was 22 and beyond. But I say probably in my late 20s, early 30s, I started to get inspired by opening up my own salon. I kept that in my heart. I want to open up my own braid salon. I want to open up my own braid salon. And I finally did it, you know. It was a beautiful salon, you know, and everything. And I had like 6 chairs, 6 workers in there. But, you know, sometime in life, things don't work out the way your vision comes out to be. Sometimes, you know, if you don't have the right mix of people or, you know, or anything, you know, and I hate to say this about our community, but sometimes, you know, it's not easy to deal with, you know, us women folks, you know, especially Black women sometimes. So it kind of, you know, was a down factor in, you know, the destruction of my salon. And at that time, you know, the economy went tank, the housing market went tank. So I came to my sister, and at that time, you know, he was my sister's boyfriend, but still call him my brother-in-law. And I was like, you know what, I'm thinking about closing the salon down, because I ended up getting pregnant with my daughter, Kaale. And when I got pregnant with her, you know, I was in a relationship at that time. The situation didn't work out and everything. And so I was like, you know what? I want to go back home so I can raise my baby. I don't want to be stuck in a salon and have my baby too. That's going to be impossible for me to, you know, I would have to throw my baby onto my mother's, you know, put my baby into my mother's hands and work hours and hours at the salon to try to keep everything going. And I was like, no, I don't want to be, you know, in a salon with my baby. I want my baby to be home. And so I started doing hair after, you know, my amazing testimony of my labor and delivery story. I got to give you that amazing testimony of not feeling any labor pain. That is, I fell in love with my child. So until I was like, you know what, I'm closing down this salon. I want to be with my child, you know. And there was financial reasons also. The reason why I did close down the salon, because, you know, the economy, like kind of how it is, you know, now in this situation, it was kind of crazy. So I was like, survival is having a roof over your head, having a car, and having food to eat. And that was what I was concerned with at the time, you know. And like I said in my video, Doing Life with the Trees, that's my second page, you know, God really brought people at that time to really help, you know, me through that time of struggle. I was going through a lot of things emotionally and mentally at that time. And so God brought people to say, hey, here's a crib, here's a stroller, here's some milk, here's some this, here's some that. And I'm just thankful that God gave me an amazing clientele, you know. And then throughout the period of, you know, my baby being a toddler and she's growing up and everything. So, you know, I was really, really getting back into the swing of getting, you know, business back. But I kind of lost a part of myself at that time was, you know, me getting back into the custom braid design, I was just being like a robot. Whatever you bought me, that's what I was going to do. And I'm kind of still like that, you know, really not really into the creative side of braiding. Now, the new school of braiding, which is really not new school, you know, because all of these styles are just coming back. Like the crochet braids was the latch hook back in the day. Like the feeder braids has always been. There's nothing new with that, you know. And the goddess braids, which is the long, thick braids, was the goddess braids that was braided in a crown on the top of your head. You know, that was the goddess braids back when I started braiding hair, you know. And now the finger sizing of the braids have changed a little too, you know. And what I want to say to the beginner braiders, I know you're a beginner in braiding hair. So you learn your craft, practice your craft, but charge, because we are in a different time, in a different season where things cost now. It's cost of living has gone up crazy. So you can't charge people $45 anymore to braid their hair. You can't charge them $20 to braid their hair anymore, you know? So charge people, what I've learned in this business, charge what you feel that you are worth. And whoever, regardless of people thinking that you charging too much, they're gonna come to you, and and the ones that don't want to come to you, they're not gonna come to you, because as a braider, we can't braid all these many heads by ourselves. We need braiders out there that's taking up load to braid folks' hair. But charge what you charge when you know your worth. And see, that's something that I didn't do out of the transition of getting out of the salon versus me going back to my house. Because people would say, oh, you charging that much and you're not even in a salon. I was like, it makes no difference whether I'm in a salon or not. It's the work is the same. The products I'm using in your hair is the same. So what difference is that? They just didn't want you coming up thinking that you getting, since you ain't paying booth rent that or have a salon or whatever, that you getting away with something. But really you're not, because you paying for everything, now, especially product now. Because this product L-I-V. I love this product. Back in the day, I used to get this product from Compton. It used to be I don't know, they might be still there because I haven't been down there in years, Compton, California. And this product right here used to be $2.50. And then sometime when Sally's would have sales, it would be $1.99 Sally sales, on Sally's, sales that they give you or whatever, But now this product is damn near $11 to $15. I even seen on Amazon where this product is $24. So I say I might could get 5 heads out of this one product. Might could get 5 heads out of this one product, depending on if that person's hair is thick or not, So I try to use really good product in my client's hair. So that's why I use this, because this, you see how creamy it is? It makes the most coarsest hair lay like butter, because, a lot of times I'm hearing braiders talking about their hair got to be straight and all that. All your hair has to do is be blown straight. I love braid natural hair. It's easier to braid. The braids come out better. I do all races of hair, white, Hispanic, everybody in between, But in our culture, there's so many different, because of the race mixing, so many different textures of hair. So under that 4C, you might have so many ranges of different types of 4C hair, which I really don't like to call it 4C anyway, because why our hair got to be 4C? I don't understand that. Why our hair got to be number 4, But that is the best hair. The coarser the hair is, the better it braids, And so, like I say, the things about textures and all this other kind of stuff now, let me tell you, I've been braiding hair for years. The best texture to braid is coarse hair. The best texture to lock is coarse hair. Get out of that myth of thinking that because your hair is this and that mixed and all this other, that hair is not easy to braid. I know. White people or Hispanic people, I had to spray water into their hair to get to braid their hair, and their hair come out beautiful. Never had an issue, braiding their hair, because I know how to properly apply an extension. And I'm going to talk about another product I use, because I never really used this product before, but I wanted to start making sure my clientele, their hair was encased in the braid, which is this So Real Edge Control. So I use this too, at the ends of their hair when I braid. I love this product too, because this is kind of, I forgot to take the tape off of it so I can show you guys. It's kind of, it's like a jelly and it's thick. They have this one and they have a white one. I don't like the white one because it dries up in the hair. It looks like pus. But I use this with the oil in their hair. And the oil in their hair kind of keeps it from, looking all pussy and, stuff that it do. But I use these. These are the main 2 products that I use to braid hair. Now to finish hair, I do use a little gel, and I've used Eco Styler for years when it was purple and clear. I used this for years. So they coming out with different brands of the Eco Styler gel. So this one is the black castor oil flaxseed. I use this one a lot. I love this one. All them other ones, they just sometimes sell things just to, for us to go out there and run and buy it. But when I was in that natural hair phase, because I have a lot of hair and my baby has a lot of hair too, and I was going out there buying all this stuff, spending $200-300 on that stuff, and none of it worked. But the Eco Styler gel and old trusty dusty coconut oil. That's what I use. I use coconut oil in my hair. When I would do my Afro twist or whatever, I would use the Eco Styler gel and the coconut oil. Now, one of my clients told me about this, the Curl Activator, which helps when you're taking your braids down. I tell my clients 2 weeks before you're thinking about taking your braids down, saturate it with this every day. So your braids will slip out and be more easier to get out. So they've been doing this, and I learned this 100 years ago. I say about a good 10 years ago from a client of mine. Her name was Lorene, and she's like, yeah, I sprayed a curl activator in my hair to take my braids down. And I was like, I was like, okay, I'm going to start telling my clients to do that. So this is what I tell them to get. You can get this at Walmart, beauty supplies, everywhere, but it's cheap at Walmart. So I'll go to Walmart to get it, because it's cheap at Walmart, So those are the products that I do use. When I do locks or whatever, I do use coconut oil when I do locks, And after I finish my client's hair, sometime I will put this on their scalp, it just melt right into their hair or whatever. But like I say, this product right here, the Summit Live, it stays in your hair while your hair is braided. So when you take your hair down, your hair still will have this in your hair. And I use a generous amount of this in my client's hair. Also, I just seen online, and I looked up and found beauty supply that was selling this for just $10, because this has gotten so expensive, and and I was telling my clients, I was like, I got to go up on my prices because my products are going up, but I try to, my trusted clients they constantly come. I kind of give them love, but these new ones, Nah, I don't price gouge. People don't listen to me when I say that. I don't. I just charge what is fair, And so, I use these clips, and I've been using these clips for years. A lot of people like to use combs. I use clips, And when I use these clips on my clients, as soon as I'm done with their hair, I throw them away. So I'm constantly buying clips. These clips cost me, I think this was like $2.50. Sometimes I can find them for $1.99. And I go to my local beauty supply, King Beauty Supply. I'm giving you a shout out. I go to King Beauty Supply and I pick them up. But all in all, I just wanted to come and kind of introduce myself, and let you guys know who I am before I start doing all of this braid and all of these tutorials. I wanted you guys to get to know who I am. And also, in between the braid tutorials, if there's any questions you have about braiding hair, if there's anything you want me to show you about braiding hair, at the end of this video, I'm going to show a couple of braid styles that I've done that throughout the years and everything. And show you what I do, basically. But I will definitely be there for you guys, especially the beginner braiders, to teach you what I know. And sometime when I come on, I'm going to kind of make it comical too, to tell you guys a lot of negative experiences I had in braiding hair too. A lot of funny experiences I had in braiding hair, because braiding hair, being in a salon, there is some major drama that goes along with that. And some of the stories I have is just so funny. They really are. They're very much funny. But again, Braid 101 is coming soon, so I'm gonna, do that. I might end up doing that on my daughter's hair because I'm trying to pick out, models, to show certain things on. And a lot of times that's not easy thing to do because of scheduling and time and how I want to film things and everything. Because I just don't want to just start, having all this camera equipment around and lights and stuff, and then people looking at me like I don't want to be on camera. So I try to, be respectful. So I think, I might end up, using models to do some of these tutorials on. But for the most part, like I say, these are the trusty dusties, the So Real Edge Control that I used at the ends of my client's hair when I braid their hair in. And then when I part the hair, I will put this into each parting, and I use this, and it's good for really, really coarse hair. I mean, it lays it down. And it folds into that braid. And like I say again, this stays into the hair. It stays into the hair when they wearing the hair braided, And like another thing, once again, I have my clients use this when they are, about to take their braids down 2 weeks before. I tell them saturate your hair with that 2 weeks before, and then, their braids come out a little easier, because I know sometimes when you put all them braids in the hair, and people like as hell, because people like the twist braids, because the twist braids, it probably take less than an hour to take down twist, but when you have your hair braided, it does take a while to braid your hair, it take a while. So to take them things down, and I totally understand that. And another thing with my locks and stuff, I do use a locking gel that I forgot to put over here. But I use this with my locks, and then after I finish the client hair, I might, rub a little of this on their scalp, just depending on what the style is, So I grease them down, especially because of climate. All these products people just throwing out there, use this, use that, use that. You got to use things according to where you live at. Like, I live in the high deserts. We dry out here. I mean, skin, hair, everything, mouth, everything, lips be all cracked and everything. So we dry out. So that's why I use a lot of oil in my client's hair, because we dry out here. So to me, it's just using products to the climate and where in which you live in, which it ain't bad putting a lot of oil in nobody hair wherever you live at. But for drier climates like the high deserts, Las Vegas, Antelope Valley, Santa Clarita area, all that, we are in the high deserts. We get up into 112 temperature. Las Vegas 118 temperature. So I make sure that I keep my my client's hair, drenched with, oil and everything. And, and basically, I also wanted to say I have a clientele that's everywhere. I just not only have clientele where I live, I have clientele everywhere, and they come and get their hair done. And I just love my clientele. They've been a blessing to me throughout these years. I'm going to hate to retire on them in the next 4 years, but at some point I got to let it go, because I am getting older, And now, when a client call, I'll be like, oh, I don't really feel like doing hair, but I know I got to do hair because, got to make a living. But once again, I thank you guys for watching the video and being patient with this video, because this video is almost 30 minutes long, and I really didn't want it to be that long. But I'm going to insert a lot of my braid style pictures at the end. So thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.